Once you've chosen your individual case record, you can begin your research. Archive services will have plenty of records that will help you in researching the person you've chosen. The asylum case records will be the first place to start. We have chosen one individual from the case records to demonstrate some of the information you can find out. Her name is Peace Pratt. As you can see from the case record, Peace Pratt was admitted to the Norfolk County Asylum in June 1877. She had previously been living at the workhouse at Gresson Hall, Norfolk. We can also see she was a single woman, 5 foot 2 inches tall and weighing 9 stone 3 pounds. She was a single parent of 2 children. Most case records will start out in the same way with this kind of information. This section will provide vital clues for your research, which will lead you onto other records, for example, in this case, records of the Gresson Hall workhouse. Reading the summary information isn't too difficult because you have a good idea of what it's going to say beforehand, for example, feet and inches when talking about someone's height. You will probably find the text part of the record a bit trickier to read, so here are tips for reading old documents, what's known as palaeography. When we read modern text, we usually understand whole words at once. Look at this sentence, for example. The human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. This is useful in the modern world when we often need to read and understand lots of text quickly. However, it can be confusing when you try to read documents written in an older and less familiar style of handwriting. When you're trying to read old handwriting, you need to go about it in a different way. If you can't read a word, try looking at it letter by letter. Pick out the individual letters you recognise and put these together to make a word that makes sense in the context of the rest of the sentence. Or look at the sentence as a whole. What happens if you can't read a whole sentence? Here is a sample of Peace Pratt's patient notes. Write down the words you can read, leaving spaces for those you can't. Look at the words you can't read and look at the individual letters in each word. Are there any you can recognise? Look at Peace Pratt on the 25th of June. You might be able to make out the phrase, "she lives," but what is next? Look at the highlighted section. Here you will see the same shape in a few different places. Occupation, religion, marital status, single. In the last of these, it has the double advantage of coming after an I. So it's safe to say the first 2 letters are I and N. But what does the rest say? At this point, it's worth remembering that it was written by a busy person writing quickly. Sometimes their nib didn't leave the page between words. So this could be a word beginning I, N, or it could just be the word in. The first letter of the longer word is big, so it's probably a capital. So look and see if you can find the same letter shape elsewhere on the page. And there it is for the entry on the 9th of June. But unfortunately, It's the same word, so that's not much help. So let's move on to the rest of the letters in the word. Looking back at the admissions section, we can see the next letter looks like the A in peace. The next part consists of 4 short vertical or upright lines, which means it must be 2 letters: I-M, U-N, W-I, and so on. There are no dots, so it probably hasn't got an I in it. Looking back at the whole sentence, we can now see she lives in, so it seems likely that the next word is in, but we still can't completely make out the word following it. The next 3 letters are difficult. You have 2 vertical lines with what looks like an E after them. So what is one of the most common 3-letter words ending with E? It is the. Let's try and spot some of the other letters in the longer word. We can see a D in there, and the last letter extends below the line. So it's likely this is something like a Q, a G, or a Y. Let's go back to the beginning letter. It looks like it could be an L. It looks different to the L in lives, just a few words previously. So could it be a capital L? So that gives us L, A, 2 letters, a D, and a long tail letter. A D is more likely to follow a U-N than a W-I or an I-M. So that gives us L-A-U-N-D. You can probably then work out that the full word is laundry. So now we know that she lives in the laundry. As odd as that may sound, once you learn more about the history and purposes of asylums, you will find out more about the types of roles that residents took. And now you have also cracked a few codes that will help you transcribe the full case record.